The clip. Little known fact, I used to teach a class called Star Trek: The Contemporary Epic. And I have watched every single Star Trek there is. If you add it up, you can do the math, that's a lot. Maybe some of the episodes I did on 2x speed, but still, that's a lot of time. I love entertainment, and I think, I see my kids, I have 3 kids, and I see how they don't necessarily sit around the TV in the living room, but they binge watch with their friends, or they watch movies together in 2 locations. And then COVID, it was kind of interesting. Like, no one was going to movie theaters. As you got the memo. You know what that situation was like. And then I've been reading about Sora, and I tried Sora. Who has not tried Sora? Okay. And I know the head of legal for NBC Universal, whose job is to be in meetings to kind of chart the future of theme parks, movies, streaming, and making movies. And it was really interesting to see, like, oh, this is opportunity. These are some major challenges. These are interesting times. And I'm a techno-optimist, and I think some of this AI can be used to enhance creativity and actually puts a premium on creativity. And we're going to need, like in the movie, Matt Damon said in The Martian, we got to science the shit out of this. We actually need to liberal arts the shit out of this. Like, if we're all engineers trying to figure out what to do with AI, I'm worried. We need different perspectives. Steve Jobs, whatever you think of him, he had an influence from Reed College that served him well. And there's things happening really, really fast. And so this 25 minutes is based on think about entertainment. And I can't think of anyone better to do that than one of the leaders from Hollywood. His office is on a lot. If he says, "Oh, meet me in my office," you got to go to Universal. And some of the most beloved movies that you see, maybe you don't even realize it, were done by them. I can't wait for you to experience this interview. Are you real, or were you generated by Sora? Or are you real, by the way?
I hope I'm real. I better pinch myself to make sure.
Yeah, and just to bring up the Star Trek, my communicator. It's 230 years in the future. This is not a real one. I didn't use a DeLorean to go get it. It was Back to the Future universe.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it was? That's a product promotion that I didn't even realize. Right. So, Mike, you had something you wanted to show to kind of kick this off?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, John. I've got, I work for a movie studio. I can't come to a conference without showing a little bit of footage, so let's go ahead and cue that up if we could.
An inventor in New Jersey devised a machine that displayed sequential images to a single viewer, pioneering motion picture technology. 4 years later, 2 brothers projected moving images to a paying audience for the first time in history. These moments marked the birth of film, transforming entertainment forever. Since then, major breakthroughs have continued to rewrite the script of film history and entertainment: sound, color, the internet, streaming. But today, we are facing a breakthrough so big, it may just be the beginning of an entirely new story. Movies are dreams that you'll never forget. You have a chance to write your own story.
You've got an audio soundtrack going on.
Keep quick pause. Yeah, there's a second audio track. You guys, hit pause. I want these guys to have the full effect. I used to do these adventures, and a buddy of mine wrote the screenplay to Gone Baby Gone, and The Town. And we did a walking tour of Charlestown. He said, "This is why I wrote about this is why I wrote about that." And it was funny, all these tech people from Google and other tech companies showed up because they secretly wanted to be in movies. And they kind of hated their tech jobs, and they were moonlighting in this thing because they wanted to be with the cool kids. Are you, does it work? Yeah, start completely out. All right, you guys, forget what you just saw. Like in Men in Black. It's Men in Black. No, so it's a great movie. All right, redo. And to boost it, I want this inside their heads.
In 1891, an inventor in New Jersey devised a machine that displayed sequential images to a single viewer, pioneering motion picture technology. 4 years later, two brothers projected moving images to a paying audience for the first time in history. These moments marked the birth of film, transforming entertainment forever. Since then, major breakthroughs have continued to rewrite the script of film history and entertainment: sound, color, the internet, streaming. But today, we are facing a breakthrough so big, it may just be the beginning of an entirely new story.
Movies are dreams that you'll never forget. You have a chance to write your own story. Hey, what kind of movie are you gonna make? Here we go!
Creation is an act of sheer will.
It's going to change you. And now, here we are, with the opportunity to rewrite life at our fingertips.
You coming or what?
Art is no game. Art is dangerous as a lion's mouth.
You clean up pretty good.
Are you guys ready for the movie? Let's go! Come back.
I always come back. Enjoy it if you dare.
This shit right here is a moment. We're gonna be best friends forever.
It's showtime. We go!
Pretty cool. I mean, I'm looking at that, and you had animation, and you had non-animation.
Yep.
And I do wonder if in our lifetime, or in the next 5 years, or 18 months, or next quarter, when you guys have to do a report or something, if people are not going to be able to tell, was that animation, or was that, there's going to be a blur, and there's not going to be two different characters. I'll come back to that idea later. Right? How do you make movies? Like, what's involved? What you know that these people don't know that you want to tell them? Like, is it easier than these people think? Is it harder? Is there dimensions that show kind of, reveal something about it that you want to share? You're not entry level. You're one of the C-suite, a major house.
I'll try and summarize a 4-year degree at USC Film School in the next 40 seconds or so. But I'll say in brief, what a movie studio does, or industry does at the end of the day, is we work with creative artists who are able to create artwork in the form of stories that is so compelling, spoken from the soul, that speaks to human being souls, that moves us in such a way that there's a lot of money to be made, that there's a business model that emerges. But at the forefront, it's already fueled on artistry, pure artistry. In a way, a film comes together is someone has an idea, a filmmaker has an idea. It might come from a book, it might come from a legend, it might come from a historical event, or it might just be conjured from someone's creative mind. And that idea is pitched to a studio, not unlike the VC community here, and it's eventually greenlit to be made. And then once a film is funded, a project is funded, I should say, a whole horde of a whole group of creative community come together and make a movie. You've got screenwriters who write the story. You have a director who's almost like the CEO of a film. You have photographers, you have costume designers, you have obviously actors, actresses, you have musicians who create the score, you have hundreds and sometimes thousands of craftspeople who might design a costume, who might decorate a set, who might design the lighting, who will create the color, the look of the film, and finish the film in post-production, and eventually finish what is truly amazing works of art that at the end of the day, if it's a great film, millions and millions of people will sit in theaters in a collective environment or in their living rooms and enjoy it.
So you went to the Annapolis, or the Juilliard, or the MIT of filmmaking, USC. I want to know about you, but just before I get to you,
I'm actually UC Santa Barbara grad.
those state kids,
Yeah.
they want
Yeah.
more,
Yeah.
Okay, so I just see, he's not an AI. That was my thing. So you've had some experience. You went to school on the West Coast, so that means you know a little bit about filmmaking. I want to know about you, but you just said something that's struck a chord. So Jeremy Wertheimer's out there. I was talking to him, and he created ITA, sold it for $70 million to Google, and he created a really disruptive travel business with AI. And I said to him, today, if you were to build that same company, would you staff it the same way? And he said, no, because of AI, I could get these senior engineers. I wouldn't need this whole layer, and I would get these people, and they would do 10x of what the people a generation ago would have done. You just described a lot, like people who cast movies, they get a lot of credit. Oh, you casted Tom Cruise. I mean, look, I don't know, whatever. How hard was that? But maybe it was hard to get it. But in terms of all the hierarchy, all the staffing, like, is that going to change dramatically from where you sit as a CTO, kind of thinking about things, or is it going to be similar, but people are going to have tools and are going to be able to do things no one did before? And maybe you're not in the room that's thinking about that. That's like HR, and that's people who do the finance and think about how to pay salaries. But do you see a seismic shift in that?
Great question. I mean, there's certainly been a lot written and talked about. Will our industry be dramatically disrupted, where we don't need nearly as many human beings to create films or not? If we look back in history, at the very beginning, the reel that we showed, my studio is the oldest in existence. It goes back to 1912, and we're still here and standing, and had arguably the most successful year in our company's history last year.
Because of an outlier movie?
Through all of these,
why was it most successful?
The entire industry for us had a lot of tailwinds, a lot of great films, a lot of great filmmakers, a lot of great audiences, and a business model, importantly, that continues to work. But on the point of technological innovation, whether going back in time, it was adding sound to movies, whether color or this huge transition to digital that unleashed everything from digital photography to digital post-production to CGI visual effects. In each of those moments in time, there was broad concern in the industry, and at large, it's like, wow, is this the end of the industry? Like, we have talkies now. What does that mean? Oh no, digital cameras. What does that mean? CGI and visual effects. What happens to everyone who makes practical effects? And the way we look at it is technology evolves and new tools come to play. It just improves or widens the creative palette that filmmakers have to work with. And at the end of the day, my job is head of technology for the studio is to really work with our filmmakers, work with the creative community, and work in the technology community to really bring together that connection of art and science and technology enable amazing stories to be told. So if we think about artificial intelligence, will it change the industry? Absolutely. Do we have a crystal ball to understand exactly how and where and when? Probably not. We can certainly debate the rest of the afternoon what it looks like. But as we see tools emerge, whether tools in visual effects that can change someone's appearance, whether it's tools that that will leverage in our research group to understand where culture is headed, where different culture in different parts of the world is headed, understanding emerging social trends that help us tap into society, understand what a cultural zeitgeist can be to help us enable storytelling. These type of technologies are all really amazing, and we're really, as a studio, really focused less on how do we leverage AI to decimate and cut costs the thousands of people who make films, and we're really focused on how do we leverage this technology in new and innovative ways to again give filmmakers more choice of what they use. I mean, we had an amazing project with Chris Nolan and Oppenheimer, which is essentially entirely with practical effects and almost entirely shot with film cameras, old school film cameras. He told an amazing story that won 8 Oscars. On the other hand, we had a clip of a Fast and Furious movie that had like so much technology and CGI in it, you sort of wonder what's real and what's not. But again, a wholly different palette of tools that filmmakers use to tell amazing stories, and sort of the more the better in that case.
So what does the CTO of Universal do? Like, what do you do on a daily basis? What's your charge? if you don't do it well, how does your company suffer? Where are you trying to look over the horizon? What are you about?
That's essentially what it is. My reason to be the studio is to look around the corner and understand where technology is headed, make sure we've got the right partnerships, the right visibility into technology, and bring that back to the studio to be, again, enable our business and creative community. Looking back a few years ago, we had a big focus on launching, 4K and high dynamic range, in the home, and that project lasted several years. We brought together the consumer electronics industry, big companies like Sony and Panasonic and LG and others, to understand the state-of-the-art of television technology, where it was headed. We brought in the room, color scientists to understand where color is going, the capabilities of these devices. We worked across standards organizations to set some standards, so filmmakers sort of knew what they were working with, and some predictability. We launched a new format in the home that is really pretty amazing. We've done some similar things with theatrical technology.
You make me think, there was sound to talkie, but smell. Like, are we going to add other of our six senses, and can we use technology to add heightened reality, senses that we don't even realize that we have? That may be getting into some.
Yeah, there's some examples of that. No, there's just some examples. Some theatrical release. A painful fact. Another part of the business I oversee, which is our supply chain operations. We'll create 700, 800, 900 different versions of a movie just for theatrical experience. And some of that involves things like haptic seeds, or sometimes smell, or 4D experiences, it's called. So it does happen. In a way to enhance that.
So tell us some things that we may not know about AI. Like is there a Q department? The Q is not Bond is not a university.
Although we have worked with that team.
Yeah. So is there a Q department that's kind of testing some things with AI, or things that you've opened a Pandora's box, or things that no one knows that you can tell us so we know?
Those are deepest secrets of how we use AI.
Like, you get smart, you go down the elevator.
I came here to learn. In all seriousness, we have a great research lab, and work closely with academia. USC is another great partner of ours. We understand where technology is headed.
And then keep answering that, but my follow-up is, how can this, we got half MIT people, got more PhDs than don't have PhDs. We got some really clever people, powerfully vulnerable. What could you use help with? Like, are there things that your staff, would love to experiment with, or would like some ideas on? Like, are there things you kind of know that you have to be relevant in, but you're just beginning and you don't, you want to get some advice on how to start. So first, tell us things that we don't know that you're working on that we should know, that will be like, oh, cool. And then how can we help you?
Yeah,
tell great movies.
Yeah, a couple areas of research that is, well, let me back up a little bit. A lot of focus on AI has been about how can AI technologies really replicate the creative process, right? There's, people have talked about, is there a magic AI button that someone can push, and out comes a Stanley Kubrick movie, or push another button, and out comes, in whole form, an Alfred Hitchcock movie, or, pick your favorite filmmaker, Christopher Nolan movie. We're quite frankly don't believe that's in the art of possible, because we believe it takes humans to create soulful stories that connect with other human beings.
Have you seen anything that scared you that might be possible?
No, I haven't. We're really looking at tools and technologies that really augment human creativeness, right? Whether it's a tool that helps storytellers ideate rapidly, help them, again, understand where culture is headed, or where culture is today, to sort of test ideas, test stories, help our filmmakers and storytellers rapidly ideate, which is where some of these Gen AI tools that can create amazing looking images or video, or turn out to be great sort of creative tools to help us understand sort of the art of possible, and understanding where a story how a story can be told. A lot of great innovation in visual sciences particularly in the visual effects space, as these tools begin to understand, physics in pretty interesting ways, and changing people's appearance. You or I could look like each other with some of these technologies, which is pretty interesting, in a storytelling way. But again, we're not interested in technologies that sort of replace human beings, but rather, again, augment what we can do.
I mean, AI, you can create characters that you can interact with from some of your favorite movies, and I know a lot of these movie shops, they make money on things that people can take home and interact with, and I do wonder if that's going to be a whole dimension that is going to evolve. That through AIs, you'll be able to connect with these characters, and then there's all sorts of if you take a likeness of a certain actor, and it's an AI, who owns that, and who gets paid for that, and does that scale or not, and are you guys on the side of let's experiment and throw this out there, or let's take it slow and figure out how to make sure no one's upset?
We're on one hand really aggressive about how we use technology, to make film. I mean, some of the what we saw in the real COVID exemplifies some of that, but we're also extremely committed. This is really a message I really want to hopefully land with everybody. We're in a moment in time with technology and artificial intelligence and impact it's likely to make on humanity. In the industry that I'm in, which is fundamentally about storytelling and creating films that help inspire, in fact, do in some cases inspire cultural moments broadly across the world, we're really thoughtful about, as we implement these technologies and leverage these technologies, to do it responsibly, because a terrible outcome, I think, for all of us in society were to be if some machine would happen where you push a button and a movie comes out that is wholly generated by AI, because not to say what that would do to jobs in the creative community, but sort of what it would mean for humanity if sort of people stop telling stories, which is a paradigm that's been around for millennia, and we believe it will be. So our business model aside, we're really focused on again, how do we leverage these technologies responsibly to tell amazing stories that resonate, and told by human beings for human beings in a way that resonates with society.
So here's a few quick questions for you. So you're from Hollywood, that's known around the world. I know an actress in Bollywood who's gotten a lot of recognition, Manju Dixit, have stayed with her and her family. She's like the Meryl Streep of India. Do you think because of AI, there could be other centers for movie making that could pop up and give Hollywood a run for its money? I mean, who saw Bollywood coming 100 years ago? But with this technology, is Hollywood in trouble, or is Hollywood going to have competition that it didn't have? Or that's not something you focus on because you're thinking about your studio?
I think Hollywood's always had competition, and there's every morning we wake up, there's more and more content out there, and what AI I think is going to be good for is sort of democratizing access to filmmaking technology. Things do become easier. Tools and technologies make filmmaking, storytelling more accessible. And with that will be the emergence of more storytellers and more amazing stories. So I think it's good for everybody.
Yeah. So two quick other questions. Are movies going to be made faster as a result of AI? Like, is the turnaround?
I sure hope so. There's nothing more painful than movies that deliver late in my supply chain book.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. Last question. We've heard some people say AI is going to make things more personalized. Are we going to have like a movie that is different for each watcher because of AI, and you guys are kind of figuring out how to have that strategy in case that becomes a direction?
I don't know. I mean, that could be really, really exciting. Sort of personalized storytelling. I mean, games are one sort of example of that. If and how that emerges is really something we're thinking about and exciting. To paraphrase, Chris Nolan, who we worked with recently, won eight Oscars, if nobody noticed. To sort of try and paraphrase him.
Did you stuff the ballot, or did you have to pay people off for that?
I did cast my single vote, but it's the one that maybe counted. I don't know. No. But I'll say we're barely 100 years into filmmaking. Barely 100 years. right? So think
One
about
way from the caves of France.
Yeah, but-
People were drawing on the walls.
right. So think, if, 100 years into art or into theater, we're just at the beginning. And it's exciting to think about the other possibility, especially with AI and where it all heads.
So last question, who's clever or smart with AI in this room? Like really clever or smart? Okay, so, people are shy.
We're all
Sitting in a lot of audience. No, raise your hand if you think you're clever and smart with AI. If you have skills. Okay, what do you want to tell these people? If you want to collaborate or you want some perspective so you could do your job more efficiently so you could beat out your other studios.
Yeah, if you have some secret sauce or secret to tell me, you know where to find me.
You're not like looking for X or you want to do is there something that on your whiteboard in your office you don't have to tell us exactly what's on it, but what you're trying to plot or you're not going to tell us.
Yeah, I mean, no.
So what's your favorite Universal movie?
Oh, my favorite movie is it'd have to be The Birds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, Hollywood. Okay, so in the theme of art of possible and creativity,